Too much lip for Joe.
All right, Joe. I won't do it, but
Totally.
guys, I'm really fucking close. I mean, I did that last time when we did our angry rant on Picard Season 1. Welcome to our angry rant of Picard Season 2 mid-season review. I originally wasn't going to do anything on this, but, you know, I got sucked into watching it. And it is, and since we had so much fun with Picard Season 1, which, just to remind people, Joe gave it a 5 at the start, 4 at mid-season, 4 at the end. Alex and me gave it both 7s at the start, then by mid-season 3s, and then by the end 3s.
Yeah, disclaimer, I don't watch Star Trek.
And Joe doesn't watch Star Trek. And Joe's only seen the first episode, whereas me and Alex have subjected ourselves to 5.
Yeah.
He's watched more Picard than he has TNG. You know how mad that makes me?
That makes me so fucking angry. Anyways, so to continue our review, Season 2, you know, or to talk a little bit about Season 1, Soji sucked. The bar scene was awful. There was an incestual fucking
The costume
Romulan
thing.
thing.
Come on.
There was no characters that we liked. Rios had like 5 hollows. I guess I liked maybe 1 or 2. And Alex Kurtzman, back then with CBS All Access, which is now Paramount Plus, was basically, you know, ruining Star Wars, ruining Star Trek, and is one of the worst things to happen to Picard.
But this
and
gave
the
you
Star
some
Trek
iconic
franchise.
lines, though.
You like what?
Sheer fucking hubris.
Sheer
Come on.
fucking hubris.
Sheer fucking hubris.
That will live on forever.
It will
in
live
infamy.
in infamy. And that's exactly what is happening again with Star Trek Picard Season 2. Sheer fucking hubris. And it actually, at this point, they are shitting all over the lore and to make social justice commentary in the most ham-fisted, poorly written, on the nose, overly preachy way. And it sucks because it started really good. I was really surprised.
The first episode, I was like, okay, if
Yeah.
the first season, the first season would have been something like that, maybe I would have been more enjoyable or something. That's like, okay, I could get behind what this is supposed to be, like you were explaining it to me before. They go to space,
Yeah.
find different kinds of entities.
And
different stuff
it's
like
actually
that.
the first 2 episodes, I would say, are really good. And the first episode actually is excellent, I would say. And oh man, if
Big
it
drop.
ever falls off in episode 3, I have never seen a bigger drop since Halo from episode 1 to 2. And it's probably worse than that. And get this, Paramount Plus now has 5 Star Trek series running simultaneously. We have Discovery Season 4. We have Picard Season 2. We have Lower Decks Season 3 coming. We have Prodigy, Star Trek Prodigy Season 1 or 2. And Strange New Worlds is coming in May. 5.
They're
when
really trying to make it happen, huh?
we are stretched thin here with their writing team and their creative talent. And unfortunately, Picard seems to have gotten one of the worst creative teams. Alex, what do you
Are you
think
loving it?
so far?
I don't like it. Look, for the people who have never heard us talk about Star Trek and Star Trek things before, I'm a massive fan. He's a massive fan. He's a newbie. We understand that Star Trek has always been used to talk about social commentary. It's clever sci-fi. It's done in a way where it is not on the nose and it's not ham-fisted. This writing team has no idea what the fuck they're doing. They, for whatever reason, we still have characters that are just like fucking cursing all the goddamn, like they're 12. I remember when you were 12 and it's like, fuck this and fuck that all the fucking time. Not for emphasis, not for anything. Just,
I'm still 12, by
just-
the way.
just
I just
for-
don't want it in my Star
It's a
Trek.
flavored.
it doesn't make any sense. We just forget what Star Trek is like, what it means to be a Federation officer. We have character. I don't know. It's not worth putting too much thought into it because the writers didn't either. So I'm going to put as much thought into this review as they put into the series. It's bad. don't watch it. And I'm not watching Discovery. It looks terrible. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch Lower Decks because I don't give a shit about Star Trek anymore. Like, New Trek is garbage. And I don't care if I don't even know what fucking Prodigy is. It's probably garbage.
Believe it or not, Lower Decks Season 2 got a lot better. And I actually like Lower Decks. I'm looking forward to a Season 3.
Was it the cartoon one?
Prodigy, I only watched one CGI. It's in cooperation with Nickelodeon. It's the Janeway, and it's for children. I am excited about Strange New Worlds because I think that's the one that's geared towards us. I don't know what this one is geared towards. This one is geared towards a bunch of writers who want to preach to us about
send a message or something.
Send a message, multiple messages, and it really makes the fact that they want to cover everything from immigration control to love loss to depression and anxiety to all these different things, but done in a really poor way. Makes it not a very compelling story. Makes it scatterbrained, scattershot, and really rather pointless. And I hate it. I hate what we're doing. And Picard, again, seems like a sideline in his own series.
Wait, you didn't like him almost getting down at 135 years old, just like full, like,
Beginning.
Yeah. First episode's like, yeah, we're in love.
Well,
we're gonna bang. It's like, ugh.
Picard, this whole series could get a little bit of credit from me if like we can figure out where Beverly Crusher is and maybe get them back together. This series seems to ignore Beverly Crusher. I know that the two kind of compartmentalize their feelings for each other. They actually got married in an alternate universe, but all that stuff was erased. And they kind of went their separate ways. You would probably know of her by now, unless they're saving her for season 3. I think they're just throwing her out the window, which I think is incredibly stupid, especially when you're deconstructing the character of Picard. That was a major part of what he was repressing while he was an officer.
So you already know there's going to be season 3.
There is a season 3, so get this. Season 2 and
More
season
for you to
3.
watch.
Yeah, set phasers to stupid. Zap.
They were filmed at the same time. So this
wonderful.
could almost guarantee an unsatisfying cliffhanger if that's the case.
Yeah, for sure.
They say second season is more intimate than the third, which if they mean
More
social
intimate?
justice-y and preachy and cringy, then they got that right. And I hopefully that means the third is not like this. And they said it would not ignore that he is a consciousness in a synthetic body. They lied. They completely swept that under the rug. Like it's mentioned by Girardi once. Hey, you look positively positronic. And he's like, yeah, we're not talking about that anymore. The fact that Picard's dead and he's actually just a robot body.
Well, mister, I think you look absolutely positronic.
Agnes, I'm delighted to see you.
Do you think his robot body can get boners? Think about it. Let me know.
It's like, no, God damn it.
Look,
so
I'm trying
I did want to know.
Think about it.
No,
This season is about deconstructing Picard differently from the first season. And if they were going to do it as they did it in the first episode here, where it seems like the final frontier is love for Picard, I thought that's fine. I'm looking forward to seeing Beverly Crusher. Who the fuck is this servant that he has here, this Romulan lady?
He's going full Thomas Jefferson here, and it's just like, ugh.
They're giving Picard a girlfriend, I guess, and then they're bringing out, they're pushing out Picard's mom and giving him mommy issues, and because mom and dad were fighting all the time, and mom says, "Look to the stars," and I guess that's why Picard is,
the captain now.
Captain now.
Searching the stars.
And so this new character, Loris, not really a new character. I think she had like 1 or 2 scenes in the last season. Is potentially a love interest here, but it without addressing the Beverly factor, I don't know what's going on here. At least tell the audience what happened with her so he can move on to a new girlfriend. That's fine. But yeah, so. Like I said, episode 1 and 2 were great. There was kind of like the greatest hits. We're doing Borg. We're doing, it's revealed at the end that the signal, this anomaly is coming from, is the Borg. Captain Ramos is now a captain. He was one of our. He was like the better character out of everybody that sucked from season 1, and he is fucking awesome here as a captain. He feels like a fresh new captain, he says, dale, to make it so and to go. I just fucking love it. Being Latino and Hispanic myself, I just like seeing Captain Ramos. So awesome.
We're set, Captain.
Dale. Make it so.
The pressure of legacy.
And he's the captain of the Stargazer, too, which it's not the obviously the older Stargazer that Picard first captained.
No, they said it's a refit. It is.
It is. See, now they're confused on their own
Well,
fucking
he
wording.
said,
It
like
is
in
a
that first
brand new
episode, he's
ship
like, I
that
used
is also
to do,
refitted.
well, not this one.
But then they see later he says it's a refit.
These refits look like the blah, blah, blah.
The older these refits get, the younger they look. Unlike myself.
Yeah, so they used the word wrong.
I don't think you know.
Yeah. But anyways, hearing Dale was so awesome. And Picard is the Chancellor of the Academy. That makes sense. I like that. I like that they didn't really keep the crew together and they weren't flying around on that stupid fucking ship. They all went and did their own
Well,
things.
7 has it now, right?
Yeah, Seven's doing her own Ranger thing with the more badass Hollow from Ramos. He's, I don't know, he's speaking totally Spanish and needs subtitles. They mention Excelsior a few times. I think that's the ship that Sulu captained. It's probably captained by a new person. And yeah, they catch up with several of the characters. The problem is that I don't like the characters. Girardi is still a murderer, and I don't like her character.
Oh no, we forgot.
We
We're
also
supposed to
forgot
forget that she's a murderer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're supposed to
'cause
forget that she should go to jail.
That's
and-
exactly. I saw
pay
her
for
on the ship.
something.
I was like, wait a minute. How come nobody's taking her to jail or something? She tried to kill somebody.
They do a hand wave and say it was. I even wrote it
Like,
down.
I'm like, I forgot your name.
Alien-induced temporary insanity.
Here, I was recently cleared of murdering my previous boyfriend due to alien-induced temporary insanity, so I'm not exactly dating material.
Alien-induced temporary insanity.
Like, I forgot your
you
name,
still
but
go
I know
to-
you fucking
you-
crazy
I
and try to
don't
kill
care.
someone.
You're going to jail.
You go to different jail. If it's insanity, you're pleading insanity. Then you go to like a
yes.
mental institution.
Exactly.
You don't.
I'm not buying it. I'm not gonna like this character.
No.
And and the first thing they do with her is she's hit on at a bar. Again, what are you doing here with this character? It's really fucking annoying. She has I don't know, attachment issues later on in the season.
I was scared. I was scared for the guy. Say, hey, watch your drink, man. She might try to kill you.
Exactly right.
That's what. If she's going to get hit on, it's like I'm a murderer. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So the first 2 episodes were great, and then episode 3, 4, and 5 are fucking awful. We go back in time, and we do this whole 2024
take.
timeline where they basically fuck everything up. Well, the alternate take was the Confederation. That's episode 2. I liked the Confederation. This is time travel with the Borg Queen's help. And then we basically take one of the worst aspects from Star Trek when they interact with, like, modern, culture and stuff. I hated it. The only way they got it right was the voyage home, Star Trek, 3 or, 4, something like that. That was all right, but still not my favorite. And we're getting a whole season of that. And so the premise of this season is something happens in the past, which changes the future, and it fucks with the future. But is it a future that Q, or I guess something changes in the past that leads to the Borg invasion that would have killed everybody, but Q intervenes and says, hey, Picard, buddy, how you been? And so he intervenes and tells them that there's something going on. So then they have to go back in time to fix it in order to fix the universe and save billions of people.
Here's the thing. Time travel's already tricky enough, but
Yes.
you give it to writers.
These writers?
I was about to say, like, you give it to the writers that are not very good at this already. You're asking for subpar, if anything.
As soon as they
nailed it.
As soon as they did this, I just imagined what the writers' room was like. Imagine you have a bunch of goddamn morons, and they're like, "Wait a minute! The original Star Trek that everyone loved tackled modern problems, but set in a sci-fi universe. How do we do that?" It's like, I don't know. We're
Time
too stupid to
travel.
do that. Why don't we just go back in time so we don't have to think of modern problems in the future? We just think of modern problems now. And I go, oh, that is brilliant for a stupid person.
Same-sex relationships. Let's talk about deportation and
climate change.
And let's talk about
inequality of wealth.
That's that's all they said in this writer's room. That is what was on their mind, and that is why they wanted to make Picard season 2. And really, the way that Alex is ripping out of his costume,
it don't
here,
fit.
It's
Bulk season.
It's basically the right way to say what Picard season 2 is. You're using the skin of a ripped husk of a Star Trek officer.
But you filled it with trash, and that makes me trash, and I don't approve of this.
No,
no, it's fine. It totally makes sense.
Yes, it is filled with trash. And you know what's interesting? Like, I agree with everything. I agree with putting people in cages is kind of fucked up. I agree that same-sex marriages should be allowed and you know, they have the same problems that we have. I agree that depression and anxiety suck. But I don't want to have it ham-fisted into my, Star Trek Picard series where I'm trying to learn more about Picard. I'm trying to get into the universe and give him a satisfying ending, but done in the worst fucking way. Because these things have been done in the Star Trek universe. They go to a fucking planet and they realize it has somewhat similarities, and then they learn from it and they teach from it. But to see it, go directly to our time period and have all of the stuff and the baggage from our time period and racial inequality and all of these different things just so out in front, and then done poorly, handled poorly. The point is, I agree with it all, but even I find it fucking annoying.
Yeah, you're looking for an escape. You're like, all right, let me watch some Star Trek and let's go back in time and watch everything that I've been watching in the news. Like, okay, this is not what I fucking want.
And I wrote it here. I got sick of it by episode 4. I go, this is contemporary social justice. It's awareness and critique by transplanting our characters literally into our world and then saying how bad everything it is. It is bad. I agree. I get that. I support that. I acknowledge it. But it's honestly not what I want for my Picard series. I get it that I'm being challenged, and that's what they want to do with the audience. But frankly, I prefer a more interesting storyline than blatant social commentary. This is blatant social commentary and being preached every fucking episode so harshly for stuff that I already totally agree with. I'm looking to be entertained, and this is just dumb social commentary. It's not even handled in the right way. I don't want to be preached to, and I actually agree with all this stuff. It's just like, who are you reaching with all this? I don't know
dumb people.
What audience they are preaching to. If they're trying to reach across the aisle and talk to Republicans about ICE and not putting people in cages and stuff like this, and even Democrats that do the same thing, but I don't understand whose mind you're going to change with this, right? If you're a Republican and you're watching this and you're seeing ICE, they're already going to be like, well, what the hell is this liberal garbage? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're going to change their minds.
Ice is not nice. Ice is not nice.
You need to do it in little sound bites for them, right? But no, and for people like me that already agree with this stuff, like, I don't want it constantly shoved in my fucking face every time I fucking watch something. And I get away from it by watching Star Trek, that world, and to be reminded about it every episode about how much we suck. It's like Star Trek is supposed to be above that, and when it's happening again, whatever. It's just that's what this show is about, and that's what season 2 is all about. And after an initial 2 episodes that were great because it was weaving it into there in a clever way, we just go to the lowest common denominator, dumb Earth shit that they even get their own fucking lore wrong. And it's a I don't know. And the plot is confused where Ramos is arrested because he's Mexican and he's going to be deported. Meanwhile, we're trying to save the fucking universe from a time issue, and time cops are now watchers, but yet these people are constantly fucking with time while they're there, and they're like, don't fuck with time, let's do this not to fuck with time, and then they And then they release literal
This is
prisoners
one
on
episode?
a bus that were going to be deported. And they say, bye, you're free now. Go back to the United States. But those people were supposed to be deported. And if you're not trying to change time, those people are now going back into the United States. Could be some criminals in there. Could do some fucked up shit that would literally change the time that you're trying to fucking protect. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
You're thinking way too much.
You're thinking
about
harder
this.
than they did.
All right. So
Was
it's-
that
but
just
it's-
one episode,
No,
or
and that's
that
right.
was-
I'm thinking harder than they did. All they wanted to do is say deportation and putting people in cages and immigration. It's our policies with immigration that are too harsh are bad. This is bad, and I don't care how it fuck. I don't care if it fits within Star Trek lore. I don't even bother to look previous episodes up. That you're not actually even supposed to be deported. You're supposed to be taken to sanctuary because there was an episode that literally was in 2024, the timeline that they're in here. It was in fucking Deep Space Nine, where the crew were there, and you would get taken to a sanctuary before you get fucking deported. But all that's out the window because in current times, in 2022, you are being deported, so that they're gonna get fucking deported. But this is a different timeline than our timeline, and I don't get it. And all this because fucking and then we have this. So it's like there's one event in the time past that has created all this stuff, and you're trying to figure out what it is. And I guess we're headed towards Rene Picard. One of his ancestors has depression and anxiety about going on an astronaut mission. She's an astronaut, but she's not sure if she's good enough to be an astronaut. And Q is talking her down and making her question herself that she's not going to be able to do it. And this is important in some way, and it will.
This honestly sounds like some kind of a Sesame Street episode. It's like, hey, what's wrong, buddy? Oh, I'm sad. He's
Yes.
like, let me cheer you up. You're good enough. You look at yourself in the mirror. You tell yourself you're good enough, and gosh darn it, you're amazing.
That's kind of. I guess that's the way we're going. And apparently, because she feels bad and she can't go on the mission, then the entire Earth turns into the Confederation and starts murdering all the fucking. I don't know. That's just one possibility. Who is Renee? And maybe that's what it is, right? Or is it this Borg Queen side plot, which I actually kind of like. The only thing I like in this is the Borg Queen, because she is a good performance. She's really fucking, she's got some fucking ulterior motives, and she's sort of melding with Jurati, because we have nothing to do with this murderous doctor, and she has attachment issues, I guess. So let's put the Borg Queen in her brain, and now we have a Borg Queen / Jurati character that is, is she going to fuck up something in the timeline? Is it Rene Picard that fucked up something in the timeline? At this point in mid-season, we don't actually know. We just know that the show is garbage, and it's probably going to end.
That is affirmative.
Garbage, and we should have had no hope for it after having watched season 1 as garbage. It's just those first 2 episodes tricked you. Anyways, that's what I have to say about it.
Well, like I said, I've only seen the first episode, and I watched the first season. I thought that was terrible.
Yeah.
And watching this first episode, I was like, hey, maybe they did listen to feedback. Maybe they're doing a complete 180.
that's
this
what I
is
was-
a pretty good episode.
And that's why RLM was like, they had hell froze over, because they were like, wow, I actually like this episode. Me too.
It's like I
Fucking like
actually
the
feel
first
like I'm
episode.
actually
It's
watching
great.
something close to Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then apparently
Episode 3, it takes
goes,
a dump.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and give some Joe, what would you rate the first episode only, since that's the one that you've seen?
I would probably give that one 7. It
Okay.
was a pretty good watch. It's like, this is competent. This I'm intrigued with the Borg.
Yep.
But then it's
I like where
after,
all the characters
yeah,
are at.
I don't like the characters. I never really did.
Yeah.
They're tolerable, but it's like, okay, this is a new crew, whatever. You see the Borg coming in. I was like, all right, I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen next. Then I see on the next episodes everything that they go in the past and do all this stuff. I was like, this is kind of worrying.
Yeah. So 7 out of 10 for episode 1.
Yeah.
Alex, for episode 1 only?
6 maybe. It was
Really?
fine. Yeah, I don't think it was like.
I liked it a
It-
lot.
it
I think
sets-
it's the low bar.
It sets something up, but it is really easy to set something up. It's like you don't get there's no ticks for technical difficulty or anything here.
Yeah.
It's fine. There's so much stink on it. Rafi is a cartoon character that is garbage. I want to make sure that I explain this. Rafi is a stupid fucking character. It is acted poorly and it's written poorly and it doesn't make sense within the universe.
I guess they
and it
elaborate
is
more.
so miserable watching this character that shouldn't exist. Just weep over someone she met like last
We're
week.
gonna get to that
and-
when we do the episode breakdown.
Oh, we're
And she's
doing
yeah,
breakdowns?
Yeah. I'm getting to do the final verdict or for just the mid-season, and then we're gonna break it down.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with you. She's supposed to be a Starfleet officer, and she's like literally acts like an idiot. There's no.
She
way
should be doing space meth in the desert, and she should be out
You're
there.
in charge?
Yeah.
Like, go back to being a space.
So 6 out of 10 for the first episode. I would put
Yeah.
it at 8 out of 10 for the first episode. I really, really enjoyed the premiere. I was excited. I liked what the characters were. I was like, okay, maybe they took all the feedback and got it going. And no, and then that's not what happened. So let's
sad
go
to hear.
ahead and give a mid-season review. This is just me and Alex for the mid-season rating, and
I'm in
then
no hurry
we'll
to
go
watch
into
it.
the spoilers. I should have forced you to
Nah,
watch
I'm
it
good,
after
I'm
what
good.
we did. All right, so mid-season.
Mid-season, I think that this is another instance where you have a group of writers whose ambitions exceed their aptitude. This show is as subtle as 2 fists in your anus, and it's just like it's not. And like Star Trek, one of the things that like I like the social commentary part of Star Trek. It has always existed.
Me
It's always
too.
been a pillar
Me
of Star
too.
Trek. This is done in such a shitty way by shitty, stupid people. And I don't,
That
people
it
are like,
even
do you think they're
loses
stupid? It's-
progressives like us.
Yeah, it's like I do think that they are stupid. If anyone has actually watched TNG and then they're in the writer room with going that you are a stupid person. This is awful. There's one episode, seriously, in Rapid Fire, we get 5 major issues that they want to tackle all at once. And there's like, we're going to do climate change. The world's on fire, and income inequality, and
Racial
and
inequality,
racial
and
things, and then like we're having.
Choose something.
Yeah, and then we've got there's the whole butterfly effect thing. Did you know that if at any point in time Picard's ancestor had Taco Bell, got diarrhea one time, Picard is now a space Nazi. He is a captain of the World Raiser, which is what it's called,
Yeah.
the World Raiser, and he's a
World
genocidal
Raiser.
maniac who executes people in public, and he and everyone on Earth is now a space Nazi. That's what we've learned. That Picard,
Because his ancestor was depressed
She
Yeah.
missed
well,
a
yeah, but she had
class or
diarrhea
something.
one time. She
She
pooped
missed
herself.
class on
and went to
something,
Taco
I
Bell.
don't
Went to
know.
Taco Bell, got diarrhea, depressed about it, and then now Picard and his whole line is. I love
That
knowing
were facts, though. Those are
this-
facts.
This is what has happened to Star Trek.
So it's like this paragon of morality. This person that I watched, for through all the movies and all of the TV shows. It's just like this is a good guy. All it took was one weird thing a couple hundred years ago, and he's like, "I'm captain of the genocidal space Nazis. Let's fucking go." Nothing about this is going in the direction that I want. Actively want Rafi to die as a character. Terrible. The wrong character died. I mean, I don't think
Little
that's
character died that day.
yeah. And I don't know. I don't give a shit where this is going. I don't think that they have the capabilities to handle time travel. That's super hard. It is super hard to do
It
time travel,
is.
and these guys aren't capable of doing it. I don't think they're capable of doing Star Trek on its own.
Yep.
I would not watch the next episode unless we are covering it, which we are. So it's like, don't watch this.
Is it the same writers from the first season?
I don't.
There's
I don't
some
fucking
new
know.
names
It
on the
is-
list,
there's
but-
names on the list, yeah, new names: Cindy Apple, Cindy Appel, Kylie Rostier, Christopher Monfett, Juliana James, Jane Maggs, Travis Fickett, Juliana James again, Vika Goldsman. Just all over the place, and untalented hacks that are really should not have be put in charge of the conclusion of my beloved Captain Picard. So what did you rate?
Admiral.
What'd you rate?
He's not an
mid-season?
admiral anymore.
oh, that's right.
He's headmaster. He's pretty much Dumbledore now.
Mid-season rating, Alex.
It is super below average. I don't know if it's start strong-ish, but it's going in a direction that I don't think is worth watching. I think that this is super below average TV. I'd probably go with a 4. Q is an exciting character, and it could go somewhere cool. But
Where
as
it
of
is
right
right
now,
now,
it is a dumpster fire.
Yep.
So not worth your Paramount Plus.
No.
I would rate it a 3 out of 10 for the mid-season, and I would rate it lower. I'd probably go 2 out of 10, if not 4, the first 2 episodes. And that interesting premise there now ruined by the next 3 episodes, which have all been abysmal. And then the insulting factor on top of it, as you know what we're doing here with the series. If this is the more intimate of the 2 seasons, and season 3 is different, which is what they've said, then I'm holding out hope for season 3, because season 2 I'm fucking out. I know this is gonna end like shit. I'd be very fucking surprised if it wasn't, and we're probably headed for a very angry rant. After we watch the next
Picard wedding at the
5
very
episodes. Yeah. May 5th is when this thing wraps up and when Strange New Worlds launches. So hopefully Strange New Worlds will be better, and hopefully they can fucking fix whatever is going on here in season 2.
You said May 5th?
Really doubt it.
That's good. Cinco de Mayo. We can drink a whole bottle of tequila.
Margaritas!
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for this first introductory section. If you want to stick with us and get into the spoilers, we can do that now. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So we'll go episode by episode. Basically, episode 1, we already kind of told you. It starts with everybody in their own little areas. I really liked it. It's an action opener.
Yeah.
You get it from the crew perspective. It's a fucking, the
anomaly
card
going
self-destructs. We don't really know what's going on. We discover later on that it is the board. We go back to Chateau Picard. He's got a lady friend. We're going to give Picard a girlfriend. We got a spatial anomaly that opens up. Ramos is the first one to kind of, with the Stargazer, figure it out. They're calling for Picard. They want only Picard. Federation seems a lot better this time around. They got rid of the sheer fucking hubris admiral and replaced her with an admiral that makes a cameo. She was in TNG, I think, as a transporter officer, and now she's an admiral, so a little Easter egg
Moving on
there.
up the ranks.
Moving on up the ranks, and she says, "We need you." Gives him his comm badge, and he comes on out. Meanwhile, you gather up all the crew, right? Off doing their own things. 7 of 9 and her hologram Ramos. I guess she likes Ramos so much that she has. Well, no, he's still on the ship, the hologram ship. Mm-hmm. And they have a little action scene. Love all the Spanish speaking. Love his attitude here. I like that. Then we get Girardi. I just don't like her character. They hand wave her murder, alien-induced temporary insanity, and she gets hit on at the bar. They're still kind of hanging around with Soji, because Soji's like a diplomat now. Of all the synthetics are allowed to be around and stuff, and Picard's the chancellor of the academy. And Rafi is now,
Captain or something?
admiral.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
She's there somewhere. She's apparently adopted
very high
for what's his name?
ranking
Elrond.
officer. Mm-hmm. Elrond then goes into the academy. First Romulan.
Yeah. And he graduated in 1 year.
I would think somebody would have come before him, but okay. So finally, we
this is
He had
again.
a recommendation
This is
from
fucking
Picard.
stupid. This is absolutely fucking stupid. It completely breaks all Star Trek. He's an idiot who cuts people's throats, and he graduated faster than anyone else. He's just like, I've been in the academy for a year, and I'm graduated now.
I
Clearly
explained it to you, though.
nepotism. She probably just fucking pushed him through.
Or he cut the
That's what I'm
heads
saying.
off of everyone who's been there.
Yeah.
Picard sent him through.
But yeah.
So Picard has no respect?
Yes.
Makes sense.
So the Final Frontier's love, and if they're giving him a happy ending, I'm cool with that. I'm looking forward to that. The signal is revealed to be a new type of Borg ship. We've not seen it before. Looks a little different. They say they want peace. They want to join the Federation. But that doesn't make any sense because they're like, no, they're fucking lying. She beams over into the ship. They want
Uninvited.
to beam over to the ship, and they say, no, you may not. And then she does it anyway. And tentacles come out of her and start slamming into things, and that's when we get the action sequence from the beginning. And fucking Picard realizes that
They're in trouble.
They're in trouble, and he just says, fuck it, let's just blow ourselves up. And so then we get an explosion. All the ships show up, by the way, which this was a lot better because they weren't all the same ship, because last season when all the other ships showed up, I
the
really
plant
loved that
stuff.
season, but it was all the same kind of ship. This one, they finally got a bunch of other ships, and they actually went to, I'm wearing Star Trek Online. This became relevant because they asked Star Trek Online to borrow ship models, and then they kind of upgraded them for the show. They need help, and then they even made a few ship designs from Star Trek Online canon. And the people from Star Trek Online were like, "Man, this is my dream." They actually used my model.
And then they saw the season and went in, and they're like, "Oh
And then
shit!"
they
No,
saw
but they
episode
could,
3
they could just
and
be
cried.
like, well, look, we were in the good one.
Yeah, we
all
were in the
right?
good episode. Yeah. Anyways, and I liked it. Great episode. 8
Yeah.
out of 10 on the episode for me. You said 7.
Yeah.
Alex said 6. They're playing with the 3 best things here: the nostalgia, the Borg.
That's what I was feeling
and
like.
and then the Empire Federation, the Confederation. So we get episode 2, which is called Penance. So this is the Confederation. This is Picard. He doesn't free slaves. He owns slaves. He's a bad guy conquering worlds with the world razor, and
He executes people,
yeah.
genocide. Super sweet.
Yeah, the Borg Queen wants to help, though. The Borg Queen is captured, and she's like has no legs, and they're starting to realize that they're in this Confederation universe, and they have to kind of be quiet and yet simultaneously contact each other and try to figure out what's going on here. I liked it. I like kind of when they do the evil goatee stuff, and that's kind of what they were doing here. Eleanor still kind of sucks. Eleanor as a character, his character sucks. He's just there. He never fucking really does or says anything. And then he says dumb things. He adds dumbness.
He's a Starfleet. He's in Starfleet. He
Which is all-
graduated.
But
he's
he
not
acts
stupid.
like he acted in first season. It's like he didn't grow as a
They don't do
character.
training. They don't
That's
do
right, that's right.
training anymore.
Yeah, he just
So-
does stupid shit.
It's a participation badge.
I don't know. Yeah.
Bought mine online.
Yeah.
I like how the shield, when containing the Borg Queen, is constantly, fluctuating, because I'd like to think that the Queen is constantly calculating how to attempt to break out, and it's like at all times. It's really cool. Anyways, they finally escape the Confederation with this big ruse. It is Emancipation, or it is
Extermination Day.
Extermination Day. And they just celebrate how they murdered everybody, and I guess, and 7 of 9, who is the president of the Confederation, has to give this riling Hitler speech, while the best general in the Confederation, Picard, gets to personally execute the Borg Queen and destroy the entire race. Because in this universe, all the Borg is dead except for the Borg Queen, and they're going to finally finish her off. But with this, they come up with a way to transport out of there with the help of Girardi, and yeah, and they do, and it's just showing how, again, there's a little social commentary here that is good. Like, I can understand, fascism and how that can be alluring for a single purpose and stuff like that. But then it gets out of control, and you're starting to fucking conquer, and you're starting to steamroll all their civilization. It's no longer about cooperation. It's about, oppression. I get it. So another great episode, in my opinion. I actually liked this one. I liked seeing, Picard pretending to be evil, and it wasn't ham-fisted. It wasn't stupid like it was when they went to the fucking
costume party?
bar and they had the costume
Yeah,
party,
that-
and he was
He's
doing the
evil.
I can smell a lie.
the French accent. It was good. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. What about you guys?
I didn't like it as much. I think I think Rafi sucks in this episode too. I don't like that the Borgs have the capability of time travel, and that's just something they've always been able to do.
Yeah, they explain time travel again with a hand wave. It's like if you go really, really fast and you use like a planet or something,
And you're the Borg Queen.
anybody can just go.
Superman
Yeah.
did that.
And you have the Borg Queen to calculate the thing.
But
that
you know what the Borg have? The Borg Queen.
Yeah,
And so the Borg can time travel?
Well, yeah, that's the first contact.
Yes, but
You've
why?
seen the film, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it's like why are they not like if they could just like go back and turn everyone into Space Hitler? Why aren't the Borg just like going back and assimilating dinosaurs, because that'd be cool. Can you imagine?
Fuck yeah.
That would be. I would love that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure
Stegosaurus?
why. I think maybe
This is a
because of
space
First Contact.
Nazi movie. I think it's Iron Sky.
Oh yeah, where they build the thing on the.
Dinosaurs?
I don't know. I think there was a lot of stuff that was
Experience.
that was fine. I wanted more from Q, other than like, oh, I needed to show you the future. But I guess I watched 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time.
Yeah.
This one ends with Elrond getting whacked, and then Rafi freaking out. Right.
Yeah.
That's how this one ends.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Well, I think that's at the beginning of episode 3, or so. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on to episode 3, Assimilation. They straight up kill Confederation dudes. Like, you know, they're not even doing stun anymore. I kind of expect our heroes, because that's kind of what they do in TNG. They use stun where they can. But no, they fucking murder people.
I was actually
okay,
hoping that they
fine.
were going to say something. I liked that they weren't stunning anyone, and I
Yeah,
want
they're
them to
just
be
gonna
like,
kill 'em.
there is no stun on these things, because there wouldn't be stun
yeah,
if you're
that's true.
if you're a fucking future space Nazis.
True.
There is no stun. There is only murder.
Right.
And
But
so
they didn't even
no,
reference
they
it.
just
Okay.
they just went like, nah, it's fine, murder.
Yeah, and then they get help from the Borg Queen to do the time traveling. Eleanor dies. It's episode 3.
Yeah, Elrond is great.
Elrond dies. And when they do this time traveling, oh my God, is this just a tactic for a cheaper show? Because they don't have to do any ship interiors. They don't have to do any CGI. They can just do
Budget constraints.
Lower budget constraints. Here we go. Here we go with the budget constraints. And Rafi gives Picard shit that Eleanor died. This scene was so, and this is why I fucking hate Rafi's character so much. She needs to shut the fuck up. You know how they told Picard to shut the fuck up? They need to shut the fuck up. Rafi and everybody. I'm tired. I'm sick of her bullshit. And the fact that she blames Picard. How is it Picard's fault, honestly?
Well, Picard secretly controls Q, is what she was insinuating. You're having fun with Q. It's like, motherfucker, have you not seen any of the shows?
No, it's fucking stupid, and I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah.
And suddenly, is this off? You know, I guess all this happened off screen. She has this fucking amazing connection and love for Elnor. You know, she throws her duties aside and is single-minded and focused on just helping this crew member that she met like a fucking year ago, you know, and really didn't have all that much rapport with in season 1. It's fucking stupid. It made me feel like I'm missing something. And if you see the way TNG officers behave, yes, your fellow friends and crewmen do die, but you take it seriously, you do your job, and you get out of the situation. Here, she's like throws everything to the wind, caution to the wind. She's the shittiest fucking high-ranking Starfleet officer ever.
We should have dropped her off in the desert to do more meth.
Yeah. Borg Queen, and they do this therapy session, I guess, with the Borg Queen of Gerati and stuff. Then we're going to do a girlfriend for Rios, maybe? He's treated by a doctor in 2024, but this is, you know, one of those doctors that help illegals. And then ICE shows up and wants to deport him.
So if she was, we
Rios
don't know.
gets captured by INS.
Maybe she was about to meet someone of her dreams and like have kids with them, and those kids were going to grow up to be like famous Starfleet people. But she has a thing for Rios, so she doesn't let the person hit on her.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense in this thing where it's like one thing can change everything, and they like give some dude brain damage, right? Doesn't she just like she knocks some dude out cold, robs him, and leaves him in the street?
Yeah.
That doesn't change the past?
Yeah, and
They crash cars into people?
Later on, they let all these criminals out, the people who are going to be deported. Some of them are criminals, some of them are not. Some of them are just caught in cages and stuff. Well, actually, if you cross the border illegally, I guess but they're letting them back out into the United States. One of them might be a killer. One of them might do the reverberations. It makes no fucking sense, but whatever. Okay, so
Too much
I
thought.
just hate it when they go into our time in Star Trek stuff. If it's further back in time, they've done like Wild West stuff. They've done
The
period
Renaissance?
pieces. They've done stuff like that. That's fine. But our side, it's just too ham-fisted for them to be preachy and point the fingers.
Yeah, like,
and-
look, I'm trying to escape my time right now. Let me have some fantasy.
Right. And
Don't
it's
take it
okay
back.
if you reference what's going on just in these future civilizations, but give it a nice package. Q wasn't in this episode at all. I'm like, okay, he's just like in one episode? Is this a cameo? Anyways, I'm done with this episode. 4 out of 10. What would you give this episode, Alex?
3.
Okay. Episode 4, Watcher. Yet more 2024 times shit like Star Trek. They're trying to do a homage to Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, and they're not doing it because it's really bad in comparison. So you got Picard and the Doctor do a little mission here. It's just more of what I hate. And then the stupidest thing happens. We get that guy Guinan, a younger Guinan. Because he actually, I forgot to mention that he gets some advice. He goes to Guinan and gets some advice from Guinan at 10 forward, right?
Yes.
And it is so stupid. It's 10 forward. It's 10. The club is named 10, and it's on Forward the Road. And so that was her bar, right? I guess before the Enterprise, but that's not why the bar that she controls on the Enterprise and TNG is called 10 Forward. It's because it's on deck 10 and it's on the forward part of the ship.
No.
And they caught.
No.
It was because her
Stop
bar
thinking
was
about
named
it.
10.
Stop thinking about it. It's because she at one point owned a dirty shack in the slums.
For 500 years,
Yeah.
she worked at the same bar.
And then-
did she even work on the Enterprise? Like, I don't understand this timeline. Or if she's
You
even
shouldn't
on the
be having
Enterprise.
questions.
Well, I don't know. And then did she meet? Because the Picard met her in the 1800s, if I remember right, from TNG.
She's hanging on Mark Twain.
And she is hanging out with like fucking buku rich people and influential people, but then now she's like, always talking about how everybody's keeping her down, and and they put in some of the racial inequality stuff and some of the haves and have-nots. It's like, but what this is, I guess this is also alternate time. Maybe her timeline was also altered by the event, but the event hasn't happened yet. So how is that altered? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the future is altered from the point where Renee Picard does the fucking thing and changes and we turn into the Confederation. But why is all of Guinan's young stuff and previous stuff completely changed? Are we in an alternate reality?
The Borgs figured out time travel, and they go back and.
It's just poor writing,
Yeah,
and it's
again,
like I
time
didn't even
travel is
watch
very
the
tricky.
Next Generation. I didn't even ask the guy who really likes the Next Generation if this would work or not.
No, but it's cool because Guinan can choose how fast to age.
Yeah, they do some hand waving, and Q, I believe, because he's like, "Hey, I'm just gonna keep up with you," boom, and he goes into white hair, and Guinan is like, "No, I'm gonna," and is that something her race can do? Just like accelerate their own age?
I mean, it would
She's not a Q. She's not a god.
It would make sense if it was just like, oh, towards the end of our life cycles, we age faster, something like that. But it's like, no, I can choose. It's like this seems dumb.
Yeah, it's
It's like I would choose to stay young. I don't give a fuck.
Then they get the more ice stuff where they forgot about Sanctuary from Deep Space Nine episode. And then this is just the worst Federation officer ever, Raffi. I wrote that down. She can't see straight to save Rios or Elrond. She was just like constantly on a warpath, and she's like literally the worst.
Oh God! It's like the whole world is about to blow up. She's like, I have to save Elrond.
And I'm not sure
like,
how
no,
Seven
the
of
whole world.
Nine even falls in love with her or starts a relationship for her. So for no apparent reason, in the last episode, for 10 seconds, they hold hands, and we're all like, what the fuck?
What happened?
What just happened?
Yeah.
Well, they explore the relationship here, and there's literally no chemistry. There's no reason why they're together. They're bickering the whole fucking time. It was, they're like a married couple thing, and they're so polar opposites. It's like, no.
It
I
didn't
don't
work in the
fucking buy
first
it.
season.
It
I didn't
work
buy their
there.
chemistry at all, and
Doesn't work
just
here.
forcing it here just is not going to make it any better.
No. Guinan talks about how she's given humanity enough time not to be shitty, and everything is shitty, and but she gets time sickness when Picard starts to tell her stuff, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I understand what's going on here." And then we get that's the stuff previously, and then we get the young Guinan stuff. It's just this social justice and awareness and commentary is really, really prevalent in this episode. And then right at the end, Q is seen talking, and this scene for me, because everything is so out of left field, it looks like he's spying on a college student or something, and she's like reading a book, and he's like talking to her, and he's like, you need to suck at this and you'll fail at it or something like that, and it's overwhelming you, and then he clicks his finger, and nothing happens. And he goes, interesting. Seems to have lost his power. It didn't click for me right then that was Renee, and he's trying to, get her to not do her mission that she needs to do for humanity or something. It's just really weird, and I did not like this. It's a 3 out of 10 for me. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, 3 sounds good.
3s.
Final episode 5. I was like, okay, I've lost all hope. It can't get any worse than this. Are we gonna get more 2024?
But
We get
it
more
can.
2024. Fly Me to the Moon. More 2024.
Great song.
She needs to save Rios, even though they need to save billions of people across the entire galaxy. They can't let Rios sit in a fucking deportation facility or get put to Mexico and pushed off a bus for 1 or 2 days because why? Why do they need to go save Rios when they could just, do the thing?
They could transport him later.
And they went back in time 3 days before the event happens. It always bothers me. Why don't they fucking go back in time before so they have plenty of time to do this? But no, we got 3
Hey, don't
days.
get
And one of
captured.
the days, we got to go save Rios. It's like, oh, my God. Anyways, this is where, at the end, Rios, all the guys are such cartoon characters. All the deportation officers are cartoon characters.
Over the top.
They're over the top. They're punching people. They're treating people like shit. And I'm granted, I'm sure there are really fucking shitty ICE officers and INS officers. And I'm sure there are ones that, feel bad about what they're doing, but they have to do their fucking job. And it's like, it's just a cartoon, and it's ham-fisted and it's too much. And so at the end, they use a tricorder as an EMP blast to stop the bus, and then Raffi uses the EMP again on the bus driver. I'm not really sure how. It was the bus driver a robot? I don't know.
His pacemaker.
I was about to say he had a pacemaker.
So that guy died.
So he's dead.
But he didn't have anyone that moves on ever. So
I guess the tricorder has
They
a
fuck
different
with
power
future.
that we didn't know about. And they punch, and then Ramos punches all the officers on the bus, and then the illegals are allowed to. He hugs them, and then they run up. They have a great moment, and they run back to the United States. And I'm like, what, excuse me, weren't these people deported in the original timeline, and now you're letting them just go back to the United States?
Well, he fixed him because he hugged him.
Oh, I
Hugs
see.
fix-
He's like, man, I thought about doing bad shit after that hug. I'm a whole new man.
They're doing all this stuff to try to avoid to fuck up the timeline, and they are literally fucking up and changing the timeline because they crossed the border illegally. And
No
they wanted
questions.
to let
I
them-
remember
questions.
something. We forgot an issue.
What?
Vaccinations.
Oh, they even try to throw in vaccinations too.
Yeah,
Are
there's
you
they're like
serious?
they'll scan your vaccination chip, and it's like we're vaxxed, and everyone here's not because they're not civilized. Did
they use
Fist
magnets?
in anus. It's
Nah, I could put magnets on my head.
But it could have been handled in a different way. I totally understand social commentary is fine. It would have been much more compelling scene if Rios had to have this conflict where he's like, yeah, we want to let you go. They're like, can we go? And it's like, unfortunately, you have to stay on the bus. You have to go back to, where you came from. And it's this hard scene where he's like, he has a moral conflict. You know what I mean? An interesting moral conflict. And it would still push the same message because he could cry, he could get emotional, that like, this is not how we should treat people. But this is what happened in this timeline, and it has to be like this. Otherwise, the future could be at stake. But they don't do that. They just, yeah, you shouldn't have been captured in the first place.
You
Go.
need happy endings.
And that changes the timeline. Anyways, so in this episode, it's revealed that not Loris, it's a lady that looks like Loris, Captain Picard's new girlfriend, is a watcher. And Guinan tells him that there are these watchers that protect this particular important individuals. And they're referencing an episode. I didn't know this until I looked at Red Letter Media's review, which go watch their review. It's fucking amazing. They're doing it by 2 episodes. I hope they keep going. And I hope they do season 3. So funny. But
they're hilarious.
this actually references one of the worst episodes from the original series. A guy named Gary Seven It's like one of the most obscure references. It's one of the worst episodes, and these like humans are selected by aliens to protect timelines, and so that we have that. It's so confusing because it's like she's not a Romulan, she's a human. Why does she look like the Romulan? It's not explained. It's not addressed. I have no idea what the fuck is going on here. Anyways, it's not Loris is protecting the timeline, and then she starts talking about his ancestor. Or they start talking about the ancestor, Renee. And this is a frustrated astronaut. And she's got to go on this really important mission, but she doesn't know if she can do it. Shut up! You're trained for this shit, and like, I don't
Why
get it.
doesn't she think she's qualified enough?
I don't
Because
understand.
Q has been whispering in her ear.
Yeah,
Or
maybe,
something, I don't know.
Because she suffers from depression and anxiety, Joe.
She had Taco Bell.
And there's a process for being an astronaut. If you have debilitating anxiety and depression, this is something that gets noticed and worked on before you become an astronaut and go on really fucking important missions. Anyways, Renee Picard is somehow important, and she prevents everyone from becoming a xenophobic tyranny, as apparently no other heroes matter in time. I hate it. I don't know what they're about to do with her. If she literally is the only person that prevents us from becoming a xenophobic tyranny, the galactic threat, I'll tear my hair out. It doesn't make any sense. So they're on. They had to hide their ship in the cloaking technology, but the Borg Queen calls the police. Joe, let me repeat that. The Borg Queen calls the police.
Well, okay. Well, at this point, I'll accept anything. You could be making shit up right now and be like, okay, yeah, sure, I believe it.
The Borg Queen calls the police.
Evan Cops. Dial 911.
Evan Cops dial 911.
Cops.
Gets a French officer to come, and she uses.
He goes,
this,
ha ha.
He uses this French officer
That really happened.
to get
I kind of hope it did.
No, it didn't happen.
That would have made it better.
against Girardi, and Girardi has this previously a session where she got the information from the Borg Queen, and the Borg Queen got into her mind, but it's presented where she has the information. But of course, the Borg Queen is gonna get some information from her too, and they share a connection now. Anyways, goes back to the astronaut, and she's just on this Europa mission, and she's scared about her mission, and I guess this is talking about depression, and they're going to do an episode about depression. Q keeps talking her out of it, and then on top of all of this, we go to Dr. Song. So Brent Spiner returns to the series to reprise his role as an ancestor of Dr. Song, this is Dr. Song, and he's giving the cure to... Q gives him the cure for some reason so that he can cure Soji, but it's only temporary to cure his daughter because she has this debilitating disease where the sun is really, she can't be under the sun. It feels like her blood's on fire. And so, I don't know, Q is manipulating Dr.
She's a
Song
vampire.
for now
That's
for some
gonna
reason.
happen.
And giving her the
Fucking
cure.
vampire.
Yeah. And it's so she can't be under the sun. That's it. They even have these little drones that create a little umbrella for her. So you're gonna do all this because she can't be under the sun? It's okay. Anyways, I don't know. Are they saying that Q actually is the one to give Dr. Song all the technology for the positronic brain and?
Well,
data
this
and
is the
stuff?
ancestor of the ancestor of the ancestor of the ancestor of the guy who makes Data. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
that's what I
hundreds.
was
This is
thinking.
hundreds of years before that.
This is what I was thinking.
This is like
this is
Bill Sung in something.
Wait,
It's not Noonian. It's
That's
like
right.
this is the
Alan.
great uncle of the
But
the
they
guy.
all look the same. That's why I got confused. I'm just fucking confused at this point. I am fucking lost.
Just hearing it,
They're
I
trying to
am.
do so much fucking subplots, and it's just so unfocused. So the Borg Queen's plan was to capture a fucking cop so she can use it against Girardi, and Girardi fucking shoots her anyway, and without regard for the cop's life because she has to stop the Borg Queen, right? So the cop is dead. Because the Borg Queen kills the cop while she shoots her. And you think, okay, fine. Well, the Borg Queen, we don't have to deal with her anymore. But no, the Borg Queen is up here in her head. And she transferred when they had that therapy session moment and they went into each other's mind. Now the Borg Queen shows up and physically next to her to end things.
Yeah. Well, cop's alive. She injected him in the brain to make him forget
Oh,
She
that's
gives
right.
him
I forgot. I thought they were
a forget potion.
I
It's
thought
like-
he was being his body was being dragged off, but
Yeah.
it was
No,
being.
He's
dragged,
very
but he
much
was
alive. He got Borgified, sort of, almost, but they gave him a magic juice, and the magic juice made him forget.
And then,
So they'll leave him in the forest to
The
die.
analyzer.
Yeah.
then they hack some IDs at a party. They do this party scene again.
Yep.
And then the Borg Queen gets inside Agnes, and now the Borg Queen is inside of her head, and that's kind of the
This stuff
reveal there.
Sounds like Star Trek.
And none of it sounds like Star Trek.
Can't you just take more forget potion to like forget that the Borg Queen was in there?
Yeah, maybe
No.
that might help.
No,
to
we can't
exterminate her
do.
from your brain. No, I guess
They can't EMP her and just be like,
nanos got in her brain or something. 3 out of 10. It's this episode. Surprisingly, again, directed by Jonathan Frakes.
I like
and
him so
honestly,
much,
I like him
but
so much.
this is-
but you know,
he didn't write it.
The episodes that he directed previously were bad too, and this one was bad. This is 3 out of 10.
yeah, 3.
3 out of 10. Okay.
Yep.
Guys, that's it. So we do the breakdown for every episode. It is going really poorly.
Well, at least you can say it's been consistent. 3s.
Yes.
Well, 6-5, 3-3,
Oh,
3
okay.
for me.
Well, after
Yeah,
that,
8,
just
8.
after
It is consistently bad. 8,
I'm
8,
gonna assume
4.
the next couple of them
3,
are gonna be
3.
3.
We got 5 episodes left. Have
Can't
no idea where
wait.
this is going.
Oh, we know where it's
And,
going because we know where it is now. In the dumpster.
It is going in the dumpster. It has sapped the life out of me, as you can tell. And but I'm holding out hope because 3rd season is intended to be the last season with a satisfying ending for Picard's story, they say. Q is in the 3rd season, too. And they say the 3rd season is incredibly different from the first 2. Oh, thank God. With some game-changing Star Trek universe ideas.
That's gonna piss off people.
Yeah.
I bet you.
Don't like
will.
that reference. But they reference to more nautical cat and mouse submarine-like movie ideas used from the original series. So I'm hoping it's more, stuff we like. But I shouldn't hold out hope for that because we're about to have a huge dumpster fire and a huge angry rant when the series concludes. So we'll come back to you when at the end of 5 more episodes. We'll see you at the end of the series for the series finale of Picard Season 2, guys. Thank you all so much for sticking with us this depression therapy session. And as they ruin all of our favorite franchises and characters. Thank you for watching. We will see you on the next AngryJoe show. Bye, guys.